NSW. People who got their nudes leaked. How did it affect your life? This wasn't nudes or photos of myself, but it was a childhood family friend. She grew up into this attractive, busty blonde who is amazingly smart and kind. One day I'm on a streaming website, not P, and bam. Meet hot singles in your area. It was a photo of her in her graduation dress. It was the creepiest freaking thing I've ever seen. It was taken from her Facebook profile that is set to private and somehow made its way to this AD. I didn't know what to do, so I quickly closed it. After a short while thinking about it, I decided it would be best to tell her. I tried to find it again so I could show it to her, but it was like a ghost. I must refresh that site 1,000 times, found nothing. I love the internet, but when it happens to you or somebody you know, it's quite shocking. I think those ads regularly mine photos of attractive people and use them for ads. I remember reading something about it. It's all randomized and I don't think it's unusual that you couldn't get the same ad to pop up again. It minimizes risk of liability for the ad company while getting free content for ads. My sister once took a photo of her cat sitting in her shower and took her a couple of hours to realize the photo she uploaded on Instagram had her completely naked reflection in the glass of the shower. This a rare and adorable addition to this thread. I had an ex show the one pic she had of me to all her friends and a few of mine. I like to think she did it to hurt me, but it kind of backfired for her. A couple of her friends said it was not bad, and months later at a party her sister brought it up and a friend who hadn't seen the pic said she felt left out, wanted to see. Perfect setup to bang her friend. It was actually rather positive. I was seriously depressed and I completely lacked confidence at the time. Out of nowhere, I started getting all these new friend requests on Facebook. All gay men. LOL. I was confused, and I could feel the beginnings of dread bubbling in my stomach. My friend contacted me and said that this girl, Morgan, was telling everyone in my town that my nudes were on the net and where to find them. Morgan apparently detested me even though I barely knew her. Some chick I had been talking to a while back posted my nudes to Is Anyone Up, a website to share non-consenting people's photos. She posted links to all my social media accounts, where I lived, etc. I left my face out of the nudes but my tattoos and hair were visible. At first I was mortified. I just wanted to cry. Everything was going wrong for me at that time. Then, I noticed how everyone commenting was complimenting me. I probably should have felt disgusted, but the comments were extremely flattering. I also saw that Morgan, using her real name, had commented to tell people how ugly I was and how I was the scum of the earth, etc. Which the commenters were none too pleased about. They were actually defending me. Lastly, when I made the front page for popular posts on the site, I was actually ecstatic. I had never felt so good about myself before. What was intended to be a vicious attack on me actually boosted my confidence and pulled me out of my depression. A few days after all of this happened, the site was finally and forcibly shut down. I heard rumors that the FBI was involved, but I never saw anything to verify that, so the impact it would have had on my life was cut short. Thankfully, before word of it reached someone in my family, as I was 17 at the time, the shame and embarrassment that would have brought upon me, in their eyes, would have been unbearable, regardless of how positive the initial situation made me feel. A friend blackmailed me. I went to the police. I couldn't report him because I was a minor at that time. They contacted my parents and the guy's parents. My parents convinced me to not push things further into a legal cause. I now regret it sincerely, because he leaked them, didn't learn a thing, blackmailed another girl, and he is now studying law to become an attorney. About the actual leaking, my friends backed me up and refused to spread them, so it didn't influence my social life luckily. His potential state bar would probably be interested to hear this story. I accidentally uploaded a risque pic of myself, in work uniform with dong hanging out, to my Snapchat story, instead of sending it privately. It was up for like an hour before I realized. I know people saw it, but only one person has ever mentioned it. It doesn't seem like anything has changed. Risque. We have very different definitions of this word apparently. I got my phone stolen last year, and it had photos of me and my girlfriend having sex. Her face is completely visible in it. I'm scared to death that one day they'll show up on the internet like Reddit, or that the sick frick who stole my phone kept them for himself. If they haven't tried to manipulate you with them yet, they probably wiped it and sold it already. I worked for a meme site as the community manager for about 2 years. An ex sent some photos to one of the more active users on the site and they apparently got passed around off-site quite a lot. As a woman admining a site that was 70% male, this caused a few problems. Most of it was the usual stuff, just sending me crappy messages and calling me a admin by injection, implying I had slept my way into the job, and other insults implying that I couldn't do my job. Those were manageable. The biggest, though, was this past December when a disgruntled user, who had a history of being creepily sexually aggressive to me and to other female users, started emailing me from a fake email. He was being super sexual and weird and said stuff about my personal life that he shouldn't know. It ended with him threatening to post my nudes on the site. He was one of the more prolific posters of content on the site, very well known, and I had to ban his account and block his IP, and I filed a police report about his threat. Then I spent the next month getting crappy messages from all of his cronies about what a b I am for banning his account and how they'd never seen him behave like that, so I must be lying. Yeah, no crap, you hadn't seen that happen. He does it in private and only to women. I quit my job shortly before this happened, actually, and was only still admining because I had been asked, and paid, to help my former employer transition the community because they were shutting the site down. So, after about a month it had kind of solved itself. But I think things would have been very different if I was still working there. You don't frick with my job. Everyone on the internet is a dong. Till you can work for a meme site. I'll be 37 this year and I think I'm officially at that age where I've lost contact with what's hip. Had an ex threaten 16-year-old me that he was gonna post some nudes of me. He was like 20 at the time. Long story filled with daddy issues and low self-esteem. My next message back was, "Oh, that's right, you are in possession of child pornography. I hope the cops don't find out about that." Never heard another word from him. Beautifully handled. I was at a party that got out of hand and there was a hidden camera there. There is video of me having sex, but fortunately I'm pretty far back from the camera and there is another couple more in the foreground. I'm recognizable, especially for about 30 seconds, but only barely. I could plausibly deny it is me. 3 people have asked about it. With 2 I played dumb and said it wasn't me. They may or may not have believed me. It doesn't really matter. The other knows for sure because she recognizes the room decor and knows it has to be me. It's a little awkward, but there isn't much I can do about it. She seems to be keeping quiet about it. The guy from the couple in the foreground confronted the guy who hid the camera. Some punches were thrown. I posted some pictures on Gone Wild when I was 19. A guy at work saved them and would tell people I sent them to him. Then he'd go on about how I think I'm hot, but I'm not. How I promised to do all these depraved things with him, but he wasn't going to go ahead with it because I was ugly. It terrified me because he told all his department. So I told the managers and they talked to him. He was leaving soon, so they didn't do anything but wait for him to go. Still a painful memory. Ugh, what a douchebag. None. My co-workers saw it. They moved on. Sounds like you have sensible co-workers then. We work with a company where someone's orgy dildo fitting party leaked and they can't go 10 minutes without bringing it up. It happened 5 years ago. I was at a liquor store with my buddy and the cashier was some guy we sort of knew through friends. He started giggling uncontrollably and wouldn't tell us why, but finally told my friend that he had a photo of me on his phone. Turned out a high school boyfriend had taken a naked photo of me while I was sleeping and shared it with this guy and possibly others. So there was an underage nude of me around at least 2 years after it had been taken. It didn't affect my life much other than feeling violated as frick, and it makes me sick to think about it and think about who else may have seen it, etc. Ex-girlfriend sent intimate photos of me to my friends after we broke up. They ended up going around my town. Some people sent them further on. Woke up about 2 weeks after it all began to a message from a girl from my hometown, 9 hours away. She saw them, knew immediately it was me, birthmark on my chest, and got back in touch after 12 years of silence to see if I was okay. How did my ex-girlfriend affect my life by spreading my nudes? She got me my current girlfriend. This is the plot of my favorite Disney movie. Late to the game, but I'm aware I've posted on Gone Wild. I was even a cam girl for a while. But one day an old high school friend was asking me about me doing P. I thought he was referring to my cam girl thing. Nope. Apparently, an ex-boyfriend had posted videos of me on Pornhub. They had my full name in the title, clear shots of my face, everything that can identify the girl in the video as me was there. I was devastated. This was someone I thought I could trust. Allowed him to record what we did together and he posted these videos with my freaking name in the title. I saw the uploaded date. It was uploaded the same month I had gotten engaged. So I'm sitting on the couch, crying my eyes out when my then fiance comes through the door. I told him what happened, showed him the videos and told him if he wanted to cancel our engagement, that's okay, I understand. He told me to stop being stupid and helped me get the videos removed. Really easy to do. Just claim you were underage. We've been together for 4 years, married for 3 this year and we have a beautiful child together. So it didn't affect my life at all. Frick you, Ron. I hope you get flea bites on your dong. My nudes got leaked in high school. I was 18. Nothing really happened. Some people said my penis was small, some said it was big. After about a week I stopped hearing about it. I don't know if this counts because it was pre-internet and they certainly weren't leaked. I was a nude model for various magazines that focused on outdoor healthy naked lifestyles. I'd grown up thinking that bodies were perfectly natural and nothing to be ashamed of and worked my way through college posing. But one of the people in my dorm randomly stumbled upon a pictorial display in some obscure magazine and immediately informed everybody else. The immediate reaction was shock and horror and one of my good male friends immediately offered to take me back home away from the scandal. I told him that I hadn't done anything wrong, that I wasn't leaving and that I refused to be ashamed. Honestly, as soon as I took that attitude, and everybody saw me take it, it became acceptable. So much so that I ended up winning a college award for the most unexpected act that year. I wasn't expecting anything like that but I was, not nastily, called Angel of the Centerfold for the rest of my time at college. He offered to take you home as soon as your nudes were discovered. LOL. I was in my young, dumb teenager years in the height of digital cameras, and before cell phone cameras really displayed much more than a pixelated guess at an image. Was also gay in a town where there weren't really any obvious gay guys to speak of, so internet, Yahoo Messenger in this case, was the only space I could really figure out to act on that. And I was desperately seeking some acceptance that a guy could ever want me, which meant of course that I ended up talking to a lot of older guys who preyed on a lot of younger guys looking for just that. The good thing, I was smart enough to not show my face on my nudes. The bad thing, the fact that my best friend left his student id at my house and I didn't realize it was clearly visible on the floor next to one of the photos I took. The result, my friend spent some time wondering why he got random, creepy MySpace messages from old creepy perverts. My ex tried to blackmail me with my nudes, so I just posted them myself. Frick you, Matt. I sent a nude to my girlfriend in high school. She showed her friends for some reason. Luckily I didn't have my face in the pic. Didn't really affect me. I never really cared who seen my dong or not. But I did break up with her because that's a crappy thing to do to someone who has your trust. Sophomore year of high school I transferred to a new school after finally talking my mom into getting me out of Catholic school. I know a good number of people at this school already and it was an amazing transition all in all. Then, I met a human disaster that I'll just call Dong Goblin. At first, Dong Goblin seemed nice. We talked in class a bit. She told me she was into me and being a realist, I couldn't find any reason to pass a possible blow or two. So, we start talking. A bunch of my friends find this out and proceed to tell me all about how much Dong Goblin was a garbage person. Once again, being realistic and a frisky high schooler, continued to talk just in case I could score just one blowy and call it off. So we start kind of sexting one night and I'm at a friend's and tell my friend what's going on. She starts telling me about how she's been trying to get people she knows to knock her up and all this insane crap. Then, Dong Goblin asks for a picture of my ding dong. What did I do in this moment of clarity when I realized my little Jimmy Buffet was going to stay in Margaritaville and not Dong Goblin's baby dungeon? I googled something along the lines of Hulk's dong and sent her a large and slightly green dong, then stopped talking to her. I guess she didn't realize that this greeny weenie wasn't mine and started showing it to people out of spite perhaps. Anyways, the results were some people started asking me why I have a green hog, and that floated around a few friend groups for a while. It was interesting to see who got it and if they believe in my big green dong. Haha, that's very funny. By the way, I approve of your names for genitalia. I accidentally emailed my now father-in-law a picture of my dong. That was when me and my wife were first dating, and now we're married. He was cool about it. We're good friends now. Confession time. I sent a dong pic to someone in high school. One of their friends asked for it, male friend, and went rowdy showing people saying it was his. Strange this is he showed me too, probably not knowing that it was mine. I was like, yep, that's actually my dong. Funny moment was he actually showed the girl who is now my wife. We had no idea until a few years back. She made a comment about it and I confessed that I had sent a dong pic. Put 2 and 2 together. TLDR. A friend gave another friend my dong pic and he showed it to the woman I ended up marrying. Accidentally posted a nude on Snapchat story a couple of years ago. Didn't know how to Snapchat. I was surprised at how thoughtless and apathetic people can be. I lived in a boarding school, and thankfully the guy next door came and warned me immediately after. However, I had to ask my roomie to take it down since I didn't know how, and by then 8 people had taken a screenshot. I contacted all those people and asked them nicely to delete it since it was posted by mistake. Everyone said they would, but I have become aware that at least 2 of the people still have it and have showed it to mutual friends, where they apparently have all laughed and talked about it. Thankfully I had to move because of my education and have made new friends who don't have access to it. However, during that period I felt so shameful, and like everyone I knew had seen me naked and now only saw that every time they looked at me. One of the guys who took a screenshot kept asking me to hang out in his room afterwards. I had never talked to that guy, and some other dudes began thinking they could get with me easily. One of them made up a rumor that he fingered me, and many believed it because it was a very detailed story that he couldn't have faked. So yeah, guys and gals, please stay cool if you get a hold of a nude that wasn't meant for you. So far in this thread most people are saying that it hasn't affected them much, which is actually way better than I thought. When I was a senior in high school I sent out a pretty good picture to a girl A. The next day when I came into school another girl came up to me and asks, is this you showing me a picture of my member? I, shocked, ask her why girl A sent that to her. She tells me that someone else sent it to her. Turns out it got sent into a group chat. I thought that my life was over and I would be ridiculed. Turns out that I was wrong. After that moment I hooked up with so many girls in such a short span of time and got the rep of having an attractive penis. Went to school with a girl who had her nudes leaked way too many times to count. It was wild that this girl was so easy to send these photos. 10 years later she's a nude model and making a ton of money doing it. You go, girl. If you can't overcome the wave just ride it I guess. Not me, but my art teacher in middle school. She had been an adult model of some sort in her younger years. Every year, some student would inevitably dig up an old magazine with her in it and bring it to school. Kids would pass it around in her class. Good news is, every year there were also students who would end up coming forward and taking the magazine. We'd shame the immature kids just enough that they'd still giggle about it in their small groups, but never in a way that the teacher may see or hear. I assume she must have known it was happening a few times, but there was never a reaction on her part that I know about. She was a great teacher. I'm glad some kids were mature about it. Where I live a teacher would be fired for that. Mine got leaked from when I was 15 years old and I found out about them when I was 21. It wasn't just mine. A lot of other girls from my high school were on the same website as me. I met with the police and they were pretty unhelpful, but the site got taken down for a little while since most of the images were of minor girls. It's been put back up in the last year and I tried to go to the authorities again and they told me that I could be charged with distributing child pee and were yet again unhelpful. I've had a couple of people bring it up in nasty ways and I just ask them if looking at 15-year-olds naked is what they do in their spare time. It's shut them up for the most part. If you are new to the channel, you can subscribe. I publish new videos every day. Until then, check another video. Bye for now.